gentlemen, feeling good, looking good on a lovely Monday night. It's Empires of Aether, the next great turn-based strategy board game that allows you to wield the power of an element of your choosing, vying for control of a new element, Aether. And tonight is a star-studded matchup between Blue Shadow and Bobrick, two of the most prominent players on the scene right now, and they're joined by Can't Touch This, shaking some of his dust off, and Ben in his competitive game debut. Let's take a look at the table. The bands are already underway, boys. The bands are already underway. We've got water and air and lightning getting banned out of here. And it looks like nature is going to take the fourth ban here. And if we're looking at this board, I mean, oh man, metal and earth both up for grabs. I really like metal in this corner. I think it's a mistake not to ban it in this corner. I think it's a big mistake. I think the 2020 player might be looking to do that. Water is a great ban here. Fire actually the top pick here for 2020. It's Can't Touch This. I think just deleted his capital on accident. Just deleted it. Little rewind piece here. Welcome on a Monday night here, boys. Welcome on a Monday night here to a lovely competitive game of Aether. We are caffeinated. We are ready to go. We're ready to rock and roll. Fire with the 2020 pick, and it's Justin taking Glacier with the 16-16 pick. That music is a little calamitous to me. I'm going to skip forward a little bit. So, Fire is taken first, and what's the logical second choice? Glacier, on the short side with him. Makes sense, right? Makes sense, right? Right? In a corner that has two swamps, two deserts? Makes sense, right? But hey, it's Blue Shadow, our current #1 seed. Yes, he's played a lot of games. He's got more exposure, yes. But I will throw out like 4 or 5 of his games because he was playing a very, very weakened blood element. But I gotta say, this is a weird selection. Glacier on the short side from Fire. Very interesting. Fire's got some new strats to run, though. Blood at 13-13 getting put in the southeast corner. I'm imagining that's Bobrick. And Metal is taking 10-10 in the southwest corner. That's going to be Ben. So the elements have been selected here. I think Metal is a very, very solid pick here. But at the 10-10 position, will it be able to get off the ground here? Let's give them a moment to select their abilities. Let's get this magma out of here. Alright, so looking at these corner setups, Fire's got a great secondary succession corner. Great secondary succession corner. But the question is, what is Glacier going to do on the short side to really stifle that economic growth from Fire? Justin is obviously confident with this pick here. Obviously confident. And it's a powerful element. Very powerful element. But does it have a right to be picked alongside Fire on the short side? Has Fire been nerfed too substantially? Is the question that we're asking ourselves here, really. I don't know. This one's a toss-up. Let's get these turns going. Yellow, third, blue, first, red, last. Boom. So, I'm assuming Metal's going to have a pretty standard build here. With this mountain on the star tile, Metal is going to exploit what is the most broken aspect and the most likely to be nerfed here in the next week of their kit, which is mountains are half price. And star tiles are typically a 5-5 price, but Metal's going to be able to access that for 2-2. That is very, very juicy. Now, Fire's got a couple tricks up their sleeve. This swamp would normally be quite expensive, but Fire's got a new tier 1 at their disposal, able to purchase a star tile for 2-2 and get a free barracks on it. I really, really like what this card is going to be able to do. In fact, it might be too powerful. But it's what allows for long sight aggression, which is something that this game hasn't really had in early stages of the game. Glacier's going to do their darndest to try to get a blizzard on this swamp or this field. I don't know why our board keeps getting unlocked here. Boom, boom, boom. I think that's all of them. So curious to see what Glacier's going to try to do here, but Glacier does get to go first. They might even have a chance to get the initiative and get it on this field right away. Getting a Blizzard 2 tiles from their capital before they can even really play their turn is very interesting. However, we saw the Avatar himself, yes, me, take that dive, and it ended up costing me 2 metal on the long side. And look at, it's the exact same setup. Metal on the long side away from Glacier. Very interesting here. I think we're going to see a pretty standard build for metal. We're going to go for the 4 Smelter Quest build here is what I would assume. And a very, very broken Metallurgical Men and Fortifying combo. Live it up while you can. It ain't going to be here for much longer. Glacier might be getting a little tuned as well. Just a little turned down. A little turned down. Other elements in consideration. Water is still feeling really, really juicy. Earth is definitely going to be hit pretty soon. Earth is busted. Turn order, it's going to be Metal at 10-10, Blood at 13-13, Glacier at 16-16, and Fire at 20-20. Fire sitting at the 20-20 spot. They're going to be primed to hit that secondary succession in stride on turn 3, so I really, really like that for them. Lots of food there for them. Should be able to buy up all of those tiles around their capital. But Glacier is such an interesting pick here. Maybe Justin is going to show us just how broken Glacier is. If they can just pick short side against their counter and just mow them over, we'll see. I did see it not too long ago. Within the last couple of weeks, I saw a player who was not fresh on the game, very, very rusty on it, just picked Glacier and just mowed down Magma. Magma not played optimally, but still a very good counter to Glacier. And Glacier didn't care. They did not care. Let's see what Bobrick's doing with Blood here. Pretty aggressive start here with this tier 1. I believe this is what he's going with here. Got Sing Red Transfusion and I Am Inevitable. It's my favorite choice for the tier 1s now. If you can get into these early battles, I think it's very, very solid to take I Am Inevitable. Advantage cards are more relevant than ever, more powerful than ever. Then tier 2, I like to just tank Blood Bank, Bat Form, and Exsanguinate. The Monument for Blood is very, very good. And if you can get castles on all your tiles, well then, you're good to go. You're good in food and building materials. So we're going to look to see Blood try to get this mountain and this rainforest within the first 1 or 2 turns, and try to get a castle on the short side against Metal. Metal with a standard build here is going to be able to put a lot of aggression on the short side if they want to. However, I think the focus is going to be on the north side of the map. There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here, because if you leave Blood alone, well then economically you can't keep up. If you let Glacier just mow down with Polar Bears, it's really rough. We've got Mink up here on the north side of the board. Mink is going to be under siege very quickly in the game. Imagine Mink just sitting on a Blizzard. I don't even think that's ever been done. That's powerful. Why hasn't that ever been done? Mink on a Blizzard is nuts. Looking at these abilities thus far, it does look like Metal's going to go with the traditional build here, staying away from the Link build. Let me tell you, a little insight in the balancing that's going to come forward here. Metal currently is able to buy their mountains for half price. I'm thinking about putting that into the Link build of Metal. So it can't be used for their traditional build, but can be used on their alternate build. Anything new with Glacier? Last time Justin played Glacier, he did take their Monument, the Wintry Bite. Did not opt for it this time. Went for a much more traditional and much more aggressive build here. Went Seal Hunting. This card, in combination with Polar Bears, is nuts. And I remember the glory days of actually making these cards and thinking that this was totally okay. But that was back when the game was so much more slow. But now it just feels ludicrous to have this in the game. But hey, it's still there. It's still there. It might have to be changed to only the Iceberg. Let's see what Fire went with here. Pretty aggressive tier 1. I'm looking for this War Camp very early on. Battle Cry into Blood's General. Blood's General's going to have a tough time dealing with Fire. But will they have the power to contend with Glacier as well? Great secondary succession. They're going to have 2 volcanoes at their disposal. Let's look at this food he's going to be producing. 2 food here. 4 if he wanted to resource building this. I don't think so. Or Polar Bears don't count. It's possible. It's possible. Still, even that. Seal Hunting is so good. Because you can churn out an army for 10 food no matter what. Then you get half that price refunded. That's just ludicrous. Alright, I think we're almost set up here. Fire taking their quest here. Hopefully we get to see the first use of Inferno. A card I think is ludicrous. I don't think it's that bad, though, because Fire just never gets to tier 3, really. If they're going to be winning the game, it's usually in the earlier stages when they kill someone, they kill bosses, that sort of thing. Inferno is nuts, though. So we'll see how it's utilized here. We do have the new conditions in play. 50-50 as a win condition, and 3 star tiles as a win condition must be held at the end of your turn cycle. So after the 4th player goes, if you still have those 3 star tiles, that's when it's a win condition. Not immediately upon accessing it. That's a new change to the fundamentals of the game. Metal is looking really scattered over here. What are they deciding on? They got their tier 1s. They've got their tier 2s. Just looking for the tier 3, looking for the quest, most likely. Actually, it looks like we're opening up here. Let's get these turns turned on, yeah? Boom. Get back into the administrator role. Let's take a look at the card. First drawn by Metal here. Getting a defensive combat role here. Pretty good. Pretty good. And Blood gets a nutty one. At the 13-13 position, Blood gets a crazy announce card here. Free 5 food and 3 soldiers in the opening turn. That is crazy for Blood. I mean, it's crazy for anyone, but crazy for Blood. If he took Universal Recipient, which it looks like that's what they're saying he did, or Universal Donor, I should say, that could be a free resource building almost right out of the gate. So Metal's going to get a half price mountain tile and a lake. Just purchase 1 soldier here. Pretty solid here, and that takes him right to 0 and 0. Didn't actually change the mountain to an ore tile in turn 1. Bit of an inefficient mistake for Mountain there, but it pays dividends if Avalanche is the first weather event. Let's take a little peek-see-poo to see if that's the case. It is not. We're getting a Glacier super buff for the first 2 turns here. So Blood getting 3 free soldiers and 5 food. That's really crazy for their just tile acquisition here. We're going to see the Blood General just try to go to the middle of the board for sure. You can hover south side to be in range to exsanguinate one of Metal's Metallurgical Men armies. That's really good. So with these 3 free soldiers, he's got enough to buy all of these tiles. He can buy 2 lakes and a mountain. That's going to give him a free castle. Wild. Aggro Glacier is coming. I think it will be after this weather gets pulled here. I'm curious to see what Justin does with his turn 1. I don't think you'll make the same mistake of, you know, what I did a couple games ago with this just to Zerg for that field there, that's exactly what I did. It was cheap, and then purchase this. It's a good setup for it. It's just bad. It's really bad. And his corner is not good for resources. That's why I still think it's just super interesting. I think it's probably just Mink that dictated his decision of picking Glacier over here in this corner. But yeah, I do expect him to go aggro. Maybe just for the sake of getting the boss. When a player purchases the Dragon's Lair, activate this card. No Dragon's Lair on the board, so not useful at this given time. But there are advantage cards in play that could make it relevant. Why is it so bad? It's because you don't actually set up your economy, and so you can't actually spread out everywhere you could, or everywhere you typically would like to. And so if Metal gets wise to that, or if any other advantage card like Skin in the Game or Massive Casualties comes into play, well then you're just kind of ruined. He is going very strong on the short side here though. Buying Forest, followed by that Swamp. He is going for the field. It is expected. It is expected. And let's see how Can't Touch This counteracts this here. He's going to immediately Blizzard that field. The last time this gambit was utilized, it was the Avatar himself going for Bodrick. But this time it's Blue Shadow and Can't Touch This. And this time Can't Touch This is a counter to Glacier. But Bodrick is calling for Ben to go alongside and go into Glacier. You don't want to draw this as the fire player here. You don't want to draw this as the fire player. You want someone else to draw it. And they were one card away from Ben getting to draw it. That's kind of crazy. Good card, though. Good card. Could be used for a trade later on. Give it to someone else so that they can use it for your benefit at some point. Might see a double fortification. He needs to be in position to... He needs to occupy this forest and the field in order to be in a position to defrost no matter which way the polar bears actually go. Because if he gets rid of this blizzard, the polar bears will instantly die. That is a text on them. If that blizzard is ever lost, the polar bears are immediately removed from the board. But I have a feeling that the polar bears are going to be utilized just to take out Mink, which is pretty worthwhile, especially if you can keep one of these blizzards out here. Fire likely not to let that happen, though. Fire's got a lot of resources to work with. Goes in and buys that first mountain and converts it to a volcano using their Vulcanized ability, which now, after the nerfs, is the only thing that provides dice roll bonuses to fire. No more bonuses from mountains. So it's a no-brainer to convert that to a volcano. But with a blizzard right here on our doorstep, what are we going to do? What are we going to do here? I love the color of the blood pieces. The dark red is so cool looking. So Fire is sending 2 soldiers out, one to the rainforest, one to the forest. Might see a double fortification here. It's not bad. I wouldn't anticipate an attack next turn. But if we fortify this, then that would allow us to attack anything on the field next turn. Keep in mind, we don't know what the weather is going to... I mean, we know what the weather is going to be. The players don't. The players will soon see, which is going to give Justin some really powerful ideas to potentially even attack the forest next turn, or just move into the field. Either way, very good at stifling Jackson here. Really tough position for him to be in. It makes one of his tier 1s not that good to look at here, because he's got to worry so much about what's on his doorstep. Spends 9 food on soldiers in turn 1. That's always rough to see. Always super rough to see. Buys the rainforest. Buys the forest just to get that home field advantage there, which is pretty good for defending here. He's not going to like seeing this weather, though. Not going to like it at all. Just got to be in a position to tier 2 at turn 3. Got to be there. Absolutely imperative. Justin has a kill. Not this turn. How does he have it this turn? He'll only be tier 1. There's no kill next turn. He could lose the tile next to his capital, yeah. Could. I don't think he will. So let's see them draw the weather event. Let's see the arrows, any pings, any reactions. Glacier getting buffed for the next 2 turns here. A few frantic hands moving around on the board. 2 turns of dice roll. Yes, that's true. So 2 turns to kill, potentially. This is still tough to swing over, though. It's a lot of power for turn 2. 20 plus generals dice roll and soldiers dice roll. That's a lot to swing over turn 2. Only being able to train 3 soldiers per barracks right now. So I don't think we'll see Glacier attack here. I think we might see them take the field. It goes to metal. They draw the Dwarven Alliance, which is really, really good for them. Very interesting. Actually pays them to not convert their mountain, but they go ahead and do it. Should have done it last turn. A little inefficient there. Missing out on 1 BM this turn. Is he going to buy that star tile? Sitting at 5 and 5. Should have been 5 and 6. But that's still pretty good because if he goes and buys the star tile, I love that play because it just gives him a great central position on the board. Allows him to make moves against Justin, potentially. He also has enough to put a resource building down on the lake. I like that play a lot. Yeah, turn 1 fortification is going to make it very, very difficult. So I think we'll see Justin probably play into this field because Jackson is going to be very hesitant to attack here. Because those two dice rolls are going to clash. Don't think he bought anything, actually. Or he did. And left BM on the table. So might be saving for some kind of purchase here. I would have gone full-fledged into economy here. Blood's not really a threat to us. So you get Blood getting a combat advantage card here. Not too relevant for us here. I think Metal and Blood should probably just say, hey, let's chill for a bit. We know Fire and Glacier may be butting heads. Let's get our foundation settled here. We can fight later if there's a fight to be had. But right now, if Justin runs away with this early game, there's obviously no game to be played. So Metal and Blood should probably not be fighting here. Blood should have gotten a free castle last turn and missed out on 3 food. I'm not going to point it out. These players are experienced at this point. But Blood missing out on the most powerful aspect of their large card, which is free castles. So that's rough for Bobrick. I would have probably put it on the short side no matter what. Trained soldiers, gonna get that army out of here. I believe this is gonna be the universal donor. Yep, 5 soldiers sacrifice, universal donor, which is gonna give him 2 bonus resource buildings on that mountain. Really good for the economy. And if he had that castle, he'd be netting 10 and 11. And by the way, he should have that castle. Bobrick, what are we doing here? Silly, silly Bobrick. So he's already got 5 soldiers on the sacrifice counter. Really, really solid. That first advantage card, absolutely nuts for them. Let's see what Glacier drew here. Gets a general sabotage, which is not irrelevant for this fight here. Not irrelevant at all. Sitting at 12 and 9. Wants to hover around here. Definitely has to cover his long sight here now. Metal could creep up over a period of a couple of turns. What else does he do here? Once again, I think if he doesn't move into this field here, I think that's him just outright saying that he just wants Mink. But at least put a soldier there probably, right? This is almost a carbon copy of my game a couple matches ago. Very interesting. Let's see if Ben can take advantage in the similar way. But that's a lot of food invested in soldiers that aren't being used for an attack this turn. Justin ends his turn there, only purchasing a field on turn 2. Fire gets a pretty good advantage card here if he can actually get to the temple. This will give him Battle Cry back for 2-2. Goes ahead and double fortifies, doubling down on it. Gotta move this soldier into the field, I would assume. We can't allow him to somehow get enough to buy the field if there's some weather event or advantage card that gets him a little bit of extra food in the pocket. If he's able to buy that field and convert into a blizzard as well, it's very tough for Fire. Not that he can't just get rid of the snow, of course. It just slows the game down so much for him. And he wants to be able to secondary succession on turn 3. So it looks like Glacier's going to get a free boss kill here, though. That's what it looks like from my perspective. Fire just kind of turtling up on that forest. Yep, I think that's a solid play. Whatever soldier was utilized to purchase this rainforest should be moving up the long side, though. Didn't move this. I think he moved it to the volcano, which is interesting. Don't think that's good at all. And it's just little moves like that that can make a big difference in the early game. Metal gets just a juicer of an advantage card. Win condition waiting to happen. Sitting at 7 and 12 at turn 3. One more turn of Glacier domination. Metal is gunning for the long side. Didn't buy the star tile. Yikes! Doesn't care about it. Yo, whatever the song is, I'm kind of vibing with it. Kind of vibing with this. What do we do here? We've got enough to fortify. He buys the desert, maybe throw a defense fortification on? Or is he gonna go barracks and full on just throw some soldiers at him? You throw a soldier here and here? Why not? But why aren't we also buying this mountain for 2-2 and putting resource buildings down? Taking advantage of Metal's big card, which is to put 2 food resource buildings down. Gotta take advantage of things like that in the early game, otherwise they just don't matter. Metal is a great early turn pick, currently. Just a nerf waiting to happen. Why are all these cards here? Gotta clean up, because we're respectful in this house. My sister-in-law is waiting. That's thrown at her, by the way. Buys the lake on the short side. Are we going to see a fortification on the short side? Resource building on the field. Puts a resource building on the lake as well. Has enough for 3 resource buildings. This blood general is not to be ignored though. 5 soldiers already in the sacrifice pool. Sitting at a 15 plus dice roll on that blood general's power. Most powerful thing on the board. Easily. Bobrick still not seeing that he should have had a castle. Yikes, Bobrick. Hope you play back this gameplay footage. I hope you do. Metal just weighing a bunch of things here. Gets a resource building down on that ore, finally. Finally. Netting a double-digit amount of BM and a double-digit amount of food. He's looking pretty economically. Could have done a few things more efficiently. And he ends his turn there. Blood gets a lovely announce card here. Gonna get some free resource buildings down. He's gonna get 1 free resource building down on his lake. Who's he gonna give it to? I would not be giving this to Glacier. Certainly would not be oh, he does get 2 free resource buildings down. That's nuts. Blood kind of getting bailed out for not realizing he's missing out on a castle. It's very clear that Justin, who is the resident blood expert, is not telling him that he is missing a free castle here. That's 3 food every turn. So Bobrick is going to get a bonus 2 resource buildings here. That's a bonus 4 food onto his net. Netting a perfect 11-11. Very mirrored. Curious. What is he? He could just really put the pressure on Metal here, but I don't think that's a good play. I think we just play for the middle of the board. He did just put a castle down on this lake, and he didn't pay for it, so I think he finally realized. Yeah, I think so. Personally, I'd be making him pay for it if I'm at the table. But I guess these people just aren't in it to win it. This is a competitive match, people. In Season 1 of Empires of Aether, the next rate turn-based strategy board game. Come on. You gotta be in it to win it. There's so much at stake here. The endorsement deals, the sponsorships. This is money. This is someone's future, their livelihood here. What are we doing? What are we doing? Blood General spending 10 food. Is he going tier 2? I don't really think there's a reason to, unless to just make the altar, but he doesn't even have a good tile for it yet. I don't like this play. I don't like going tier 2 here. You're not doing anything with it. What's the point? Just use the resources to buy more tiles. Gonna go ahead and make this a lake into an altar? Yikes! Kinda ugly. It's got the castle on it, but he loses the free resource ability. I mean, like, why do it this turn? Like, just wait, right? Get a turn of free food. And yes, I know that the altar makes resources, I know. But for food from the lake, looks like we're doing some rewinding here. Thank goodness we don't use these sheets anymore. We're such a progressed game. The future is now. So he does go ahead, confirm the altar. He's going to add 2 to his BM, but he's actually going to lose 2 food there. Netting 12 and 13, really solid numbers. Blood is the first to hit tier 2. On schedule, but where's the Blood General go? That's the real story of this. He's seeing red. He's going for metal. I don't think this is a good play. Gonna get a free soldier on the counter? Absolutely. Blood General is powerful, but metal's got plays against this. I would have let metal develop over here, burn their big turn 2 combo against Glacier, and then strike. Why not? You are sitting pretty. No one is looking at you. So this is, I think, a very premature play by Blood. 1 turn too early, I would say. Gets recycled, though. Just a juice from an advantage card. Does get to cash in on the I am inevitable. That's it. I mean, when you get a card like that, that's pretty solid. Because he's going to get Seeing Red back again. So we got Glacier trying to defend as best they can. They do pop tier 2. They still have a lot of food at their disposal, and they get 2 blizzards on the long side against Metal. This is expected. Metal would be heavily delayed here. Metal also did not take the tier 1 that counters Glacier. I think anytime you see Glacier in the game, unless you're on opposite corners from them, you should be taking the tier 1 ability, leveling the playing field, that does counter this. Next turn, Metal would have the capability of buying this star tile desert, leveling the playing field, turning this back into a field, and actually being 1 tile away from their capital. Obviously, that's not going to happen now, because now they got to contend with Blood. Now they're likely to have to spend their turn tier 2 combo against the Blood General. And Glacier's going all in on this play, recognizing they've got a solid defense here. Going all in. They have an army. They've got polar bears. Seal Hunting was used as well to give them that bonus food. Fire gets a good card here, but Fire's looking in trouble here. This weather is absolutely not good for Fire's early game potential. Blue Shadow appears to be getting a free win condition here. I'm not sure what Fire does. They can't do anything. Fire lost their early game ability to train armies. They're a little bit slower than they were. And now what Glacier's going to be able to do, if Fire's able to put up a defense here, Glacier can just turn tail and go attack Mink. I'm pretty sure Fire's just dead, though. They're going to fortify. And I don't think there's much you can do, as Can't Touch This. He lost this soldier on the field as well. You had to make more of a presence there in order to melt this blizzard, in order to stifle this attack. That was the only play that could have been different, is if you committed more resources there. Arguably, I think the field was more important than the forest for that reason. Trying to fortify everything. Pretty broke now, though. Backed into a very deep corner. So, Glacier, after all that, is still sitting at 10 food because of how powerful Seal Hunting is in combination with Polar Bears. It is certainly what's going to be their nerf. gonna be an application of their nerf. Mount up. All players' generals may move 2 tiles this turn. That is crazy for Blood. Because Metal is going to counterattack here with their tier 2. Blood is going to get sent back to their capital, but guess what? Blood is going to get to move right back to the lake and exsanguinate one of those armies. Really crazy. But they really need to reconsider their options because Glacier is looking like they're just going to run away with this game. I think this is the first time this weather's been played in a competitive setting. I like this weather. I like this weather a lot, especially when Blood's in the game. Blood loves it when it's in the game. So the good news is, with Glacier likely to kill Can't Touch This here, the fire player, I think we're still a few turns out from the game being over, though. So there's a chance Blood could kill Metal and get a win condition of his own. But now we want to be thinking, what plays can we do in order to access our own win conditions while the game is still live? Metal using their double movement to retreat, just taking all pressure off of Glacier. Gonna play here, I assume this is the tier 2 play here. Buys that forest, goes to 16-13 with that. If he strip mines the forest, it's not bad with this black lung. The field was obviously better, but the reason why dice roll is not nearly as effective against Blood is because Blood doesn't really have dice roll. It's just their general. Very high speed game here. So it's pretty crazy to see how the game shifts because Glacier used to take Frigid as a tier 1 ability, which made it to where anyone adjacent to a Blizzard couldn't move for 1 turn. And then they just realized that Blizzards are so powerful, when you just aggress past them, they can't attack and melt your Blizzards in the same turn, which is why these melting the Blizzard plays aren't as big of a threat. Metal could have done way more over here if they use their skills a little more optimally against Glacier. If they chose abilities a little more optimally. But we'll see what happens here. We've got 2 armies attacking into the Blood General. It should be a guarantee. He doesn't own this lake. He's only sitting at a 17 plus their 2 dice rolls. This is a guaranteed of a 30. So he's at a max of 29 and Metal's at a minimum of 30, so this is fine. But like we said before, Blood is going to get to counteract this pretty well. Strip mines the field. I like this. Black Lung is going to be very relevant here right next to the capital. I do like that play. So looking at win conditions available for our other players down here, it's got to be star tiles, right? But Glacier is going to be able to fight for both the desert and the swamp here. Metal is going to find it very difficult to contend for 2 bosses. Blood maybe can be relevant. But who knows? We're still pretty early. When win conditions happen this quickly, it's actually very frequently the person who perpetrates it doesn't win the game. But we'll see what Justin does here. I would imagine he's got a very easy kill on Mink, followed by a kill on Steno once he's able to get armies in position, because they can move through Blizzard tiles. That's the issue here. He's got so much net food, and he can move through Blizzards with snowshoes. Blood getting a pretty relevant card here for his Blood build. Does the double movement courtesy of mount up in order to exsanguinate one of those armies. He should pop recycle here to get back seeing red. And if he's able to get his monument down on a star tile, which because of his altar, he can't actually move soldiers out of this tile, which is really bad planning there. He could get his star tile down, and he could exsanguinate again the following turn. Blood General is very powerful already, sitting at 27 plus dice roll. Very powerful. But also, this altar is just so poorly positioned, he can't actually move on the board without buying soldiers from very inoptimal barracks. Rough setup for him. Has to remove a resource building, likely. Look at his hand moving all around. What do we do? Wonder how relevant it would be for Bobrick to farm on Metal's creatures here in order to get powerful enough to contend with bosses. Was there anything I could have done since Can't Touch This in the chat? I really don't think so. I think you going after a Glacier made it near impossible. And then obviously the weather is what made him feel way more gung-ho on this. In all honesty, the savior could have been Ben if he chose the correct tier 1s against Glacier. He has a tier 1 available to him that would have put him one tile away from his capital this turn. 2020 is not good. It's also a combination of Glacier being too powerful. Glacier is now the new Lightning with the current state of the game. So Blood does use Recycle to get Seeing Red back here, fully expected. 2020 is not good. Its Glacier is too powerful right now. With all these other nerfs that took place, that took out the other aggro nations, Glacier was kind of left alone. We both know Ben wouldn't think of that. In the future, we take notes. In the Metal versus Glacier matchup, there is a tier 1 ability that strongly counters Glacier. Strongly. But we can see Justin is already setting up for his 2-boss kill afterwards. Glacier definitely displaying some broken aspects of their element. There are counters to them, but him going at 16-16 away from the 10-10 and 13-13 on the long side, I actually think this is beautifully planned. Is he abusing something that is too powerful at the moment? Absolutely. But I think it's very interesting and very pertinent to most situations. 2020 picks right here. Picking on the side, their short side, is really not a bad idea in most situations. Because that puts the players who, in the earlier turns, are becoming more powerful, more relevant. You're long side away from them, it's really, really good. Because I think the most optimal way to play this game is to pursue the player that goes immediately after you. It disrupts their turn if you're attacking them. It forces them on a different timeline that's not as efficient. I think it's the optimal way to play this game. Glacier does finish off fire. I don't think there's anything they could have done. I think he was dead from the beginning when the weather was drawn. Even old fire. Is there anything they can do against that? I don't think so. So yes, this is the first iteration of fire following their nerf. I don't think there's anything they do, though. I think Shadow is getting a free win here, yes. But nothing against Can't Touch This. I don't think he could have done anything. We get Soup Kitchen. Player with the least amount of food receives 10 food. This is after payout. Shouldn't be Blood. Blood is just netting a ludicrous amount of resources. It could actually be Metal. I think it should be Metal. Metal's at 17, Glacier's at 12, so it will be, or 19, it will be Metal. But really, I think now Bobrick is fully sold on having to kill Ben for a possible win condition, and Ben can maybe do 2 bosses, but I don't think the timeline works. I think Justin's going to get a clean sweep of this game. Going to be the only one with 2 win conditions. Been forced to get rid of an advantage card here. Actually, he's got a lot of boss killing potential. Army here, he gets to train another army for 5 food. He's got extra dice roll advantage. He's got to go for a boss kill here. And he's got a bull by the horns the following turn. That's the only play. He has to do that. Don't think he is. But, with this being his first competitive game, maybe he's not looking for those free win, or not free win conditions. In all honesty, he might have needed to bull by the horns towards Thenno, actually. I don't know what Glacier's potential is to kill this turn. Sitting at 19 foods, we can train 2 armies. General and 2 armies is pretty good chances against it. Oops, I didn't mean to arrow. Doesn't have any dice roll additives here for killing bosses. So, moving forward in this game, polar bears will be getting a pretty sizable nerf along with seal hunting. Polar bears is going to have some cost to it. Something that makes it just a little bit slower. Because as of right now, yes, there's magma and fire to counter blizzards. But if Glacier is going before them, it doesn't matter. Because Glacier just pushes into them to where they can't melt the blizzards. So we've got 3 armies for Metal here. Which is, like, what's he doing here? So he did use the discount regiment, got the discounted army. Step 1, correct. Now for step 2. Is he attacking? I don't like the attack here. It just doesn't do anything. Oh, actually, Blood didn't take their monument. And they just end their turn. Yeah, this game's over. The game is over. Metal didn't capitalize on their option, and now Blood is going to struggle to get over this. Can sacrifice nearly 2 armies, which will put them at 21 soldiers sacrifice, which is really, really powerful, obviously. But he has no opportunity to move twice anywhere in a good position. So I think Bobrick, he popped his strategy 1 turn too early. Ben didn't plan optimally against Blue Shadow. And then Jackson was just kind of screwed from the beginning. He could not have done anything. Couldn't have planned about it anymore. Just unfortunate open. What element could actually stop it, really? Given all those other circumstances, I think the only other thing you could have done is pick Glacier 2020. Glacier 2020 is super solid. So he sacrifices an army. Still sitting at 13 and 18. Probably wants to be in a position to tier 3 next turn. Because I don't think Glacier wins next turn. But they probably win the turn after. The polar bears are dead. Put soldiers on that lake, making it difficult for Metal to attack it, but I don't think Metal really wants to. The polar bears are deceased for Glacier, but that doesn't slow them down too much. Got an army and their general. The general is currently sitting at 37 plus dice roll with an army with the potential of having 40. So his maximum attack potential is 77. So I don't think it's very good for him to attack into this lake because Metal has a much higher ceiling. Obviously, if Blood rolls high and Metal rolls low, there's a win here. And then Bodrick just kind of mows over him, which maybe that's what he has to do at this point, because I don't see any other potential for win conditions. So maybe he just throws it at him. Going for the boss, actually, instead. I like that. Pretty good. Almost guaranteed with Sharpened Steel. Puts it at a... That's a guarantee. Oh. Forgot Vipress was 30. I think he lost that, actually. He did. He rolled the one on his soldiers. I shook his mojo. I shook his mojo. Yikes. So he went for it. That's a good play. If he rolls a 2, I think he wins. I think. Rough for him, though. And so now this game is with Blood going all in on that play. Metal is all in, but with no future here. Maybe he gets a boss, and they can, if there's another turn after this, can teleport to the next one the turn after. But Justin is going to walk away with this game. Ben has a chance of getting one win condition. Absolutely. Let's make it snappy here, lads. We know the end result. Just gotta know if Metal gets himself a winning edition here. Excuse me. Positioning armies, just as we thought, against Steno. There should be 10 food down, so he should be at 9 after that. Can train 4 additional soldiers on top of that from a barracks put on either the capital or one of these blizzards. Doesn't matter. Could be going for Mink here. If he attacks Mink, anything higher than a 1 will take it. 5 out of 6 chance right now. Lots of readjustments here. So he's going to go ahead and full commit onto Steno here. This is not a guarantee. He rolls a 1 on soldiers, not a guarantee at all. Gets a 4 for his general. 2 for that. It is a kill. That is a kill. 48 from the soldiers plus a 9 from his general puts him at a 57. And he gets the Petrifying Gaze, which is going to nullify anything the Metal's going to be able to do here. Actually, with the teleport component of Bull by the Horns, that does negate the freezing aspect of this. How funny would it be, though, for him to Petrifying Gaze and just allow Blood's General to kill all of these soldiers and just become just ludicrously powerful? Big bosses is crazy. So Mink goes to 50 HP. But that does nearly negate Metal's relevance here. Oh, is he teleporting to Mink? Good play here from Ben. But these units are going to get frozen, unfortunately. So now he can't teleport away. So he's gonna get the boss kill, but these soldiers are gonna get frozen and then just killed by an army. But that does disrupt Glacier winning this game, though. And unfortunately, Mink is gonna die as well. But he gets one turn of robbing from Glacier, most likely. No, he doesn't. Glacier will kill these units this turn. How funny. But now if we think about the movement potential on the board, where can Metal go from here? Nowhere. Glacier just needs a couple of turns to get to the second boss here. Or just secure star tiles. That's what I would do. It's turn 6. Aether's happening next turn. He just needs to get a unit to the temple. He would get Aether. Gotta watch out for that. Aether happening next turn is a big deal. Great resources for Metal. Benefiting from that weather, they gave him a bonus 10 food a couple turns ago. So puts an army right here on this lake tile. And it goes to Blood, who's got a very interesting advantage card here. But the thing is, if they get rid of that, there's a risk that Glacier can just get rid of one of those bosses immediately after. Maybe Blood can make a deal with Metal to give him an opportunity to kill a boss to secure himself a win condition. That'd be very nice of Bobrick. To allow Ben to get a win condition in his competitive game debut. But I don't see too many plays you made for Blood here. Just continuing to sacrifice soldiers. Can't go tier 3. Blood's General, incredibly powerful. But what are we building this power level for is the question. Bat forms to that castle. His general is now at 55 plus dice roll. Extremely powerful. Roughly 3 armies worth. Please check your text when you get a chance. Will do. Game's almost over. We're really delaying the inevitable here. Glacier is about to use one army to kill 3 armies, a general, and Mink. Poor Mink. Discarding dragon-shaped trap. Gonna probably spend a lot of resources to get to the temple here. He's the last player in this turn cycle. Can't get to the temple, though. Aether is going to be absolutely free next turn. Oh. Trying to get there. His soldiers only cost 2. He is going to be able to get 1 soldier there. Justin will have Aether, which is going to allow him to remake his blizzards. So because of blubber rations, he has exactly enough food to get to the temple. Super convenient. Gonna petrifying gaze on this Mink tile here. Slaughter it with that 1 army. That is deceased. If only Fire was able to use skin in the game here. Get him out of here! Toss him! Glacier getting a lot of land over here on the northern side of the board. And it is going for the kill, it looks like. Not satisfied with 2 bosses. Wants to kill Ben. To really just confidently state who's the king of this castle currently. And it is Aether. The soldier just kind of phased through this tile. I can't get him out. There it is. So Glacier is going to secure the Aether tile at turn 7. And the game should be over this turn. Only way they can really stall this is if they just occupy star tiles. But if Glacier is able to go tier 2, then no matter what, Glacier can win this game. By killing Ben. Depending on how much he loads this tile up with, he's going to be able to chuck this Blizzard 1, 2, 3 tiles, which is going to allow him to attack 2 times and actually snowshoes through. So no matter what, Justin should be able to kill. Actually, or is this after payout? I think it is after payout. So he can't go tier 3. But either way, he's going to be able to set up all these blizzards so that the moment he goes tier 3, he gets his quest. He'll turn this into a blizzard. So is Glacier a must ban in this current iteration? It looks like it. It looks like it. But to be fair, Fire didn't get to really put up a fight. In all honesty, with quests like Glacier and Metal in the game, I think Aether is also going to lose this card as well. Getting to just convert any tile into any 2 non-landmark tiles. This Aether was made with the original 4 elements in mind. No other elements after that. Quests weren't in the game. Aether has barely been touched since the game was first created. They're probably going to lose this one with nature. Just the simple fact that it is a star tile and you can use any ability that has been used in the game once per game is already pretty powerful, I would say. It's already a massive bonus. So that is going to be the new Aether. So look for patch notes likely tomorrow. Glacier nerfs, perhaps the next air nerf, metal nerfs, earth nerfs, and Aether. Little nerfed. Sandstorm, you would think it might delay Glacier. But it doesn't, because Ben already screwed up by not putting anyone in this mountain tile. So no matter what, Glacier should win this turn. And if Bobrick realizes that, Bobrick can't get a win condition either. Can only kill 1 boss this turn. I don't think there's any advantage card he could draw off of this battle that wins him another boss. But man, Blood's General is going to be looking mighty powerful. He's going for it. What's he going for, though? Bobrick in a last-ditch effort, expanding up the coast. Buys himself a rainforest. But then what? But then what? Gets a castle. But then what? Netting a ludicrous amount of resources. Netting a lot. And intern? Intern? A valiant effort! But as we said at the beginning of this game, if these two on this side of the board just butt heads, whoever wins up top would win the game. And GG. Blue Shadow claims 2 Sword Talents, and he is the last player in the cycle, which is a second win condition. That will be the game! GG's! Blue Shadow snags himself another victory, taking advantage of Glacier in its overpowered state. Hopefully, in a much more nerfed position tomorrow, where hopefully we've got another game tomorrow night. Empires of Aether, tell your mom. We'll see you tomorrow.